So you made it, you negotiated the inspection contingencies, and you're ready to close. That check for all that equity and all the years you've been paying into this mortgage is just around the corner. You can feel it, and you can even see yourself signing the papers, and you can smell that cash after you turn that check in at the bank. But wait, there's one more big hump, and it tends to follow right after the inspection, and it's the appraisal process. It's coming up, and it's the last big hurdle for sellers and buyers, and it makes everybody nervous for some reason. And the worst part, and this is probably why it makes you nervous, is that there's very little you can do about it if things go wrong. So what are the outcomes that you face during appraisal? Let's get those out of the way first. So one, and the least likely, is that the home appraises for higher than asking price. Maybe, for example, you have your house listed for $200,000 and the house appraises for $225,000. Well, you got nothing really to worry about as far as closing, except for the fact that you really might want to revisit how you priced the house in the first place, because you just missed out on $25,000 as a seller. Second, and most common, is the house appraises at asking price and everyone's happy. I mean, you know, the house appraises and it goes to bank, and that's usually what happens. But third, and most nerve-wracking, is the house appraises below asking price. So what do you do if this happens? Well, really, you got three options. The first is you as a seller come down in the asking price and meet the buyer where the house appraises. The second is that the buyer brings more money to the table, which can happen if they really want the home. And three, the deal falls apart and you just don't close on this house. You reprice your house and put it back on the market. So there's not much you can do in those situations. So today's video isn't really about how to handle the outcome of an appraisal gone wrong, but instead, I'm going to give you some tips that you can do that's going to add perceived value to the home and ensure that the outcome is a little more favorable to everybody. There's several things that you can do as a seller to pump up your home's perceived value. And so I'm going to share with you 7 tips to avoid a low appraisal. And there's really no such thing as being overly prepared. So number one is you want to vet the competition. You want to get a sense of what homeowners or what homes are selling for in your area, and you can find them yourself in public property records and online sites like Zillow and everything. You can search recent sales. You want to look for homes that are obviously similar to yours and they sold in the last 6 months, and stick to properties within 1 to 2 mile radius and that have comparable square footage, layout, upgrades, conditions. This will give you a fair idea of what to expect from your own market value, and they'll also clue you in on which improvements are going to make a difference, okay? Or you can also call me, and I can help you with that, all right? So number 2 is to finish any minor fixes you have. Every homeowner has a to-do list that's just waiting to get completed. You know, maybe the squeaky door in the bedroom, a runny toilet in the half bath, a finicky garbage disposal. You know, you don't want to keep putting these things off forever, and you want to get them done before the appraisal. You know, they might seem like very small details to you, but in an appraiser's mind, they add up to the overall condition of the home. To make sure your home is at its best, I suggest taking a tour around the house. Take a little piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and just note any of the small fixes that need to be made, and then go ahead and tackle them one by one. Number 3, spruce up the outside of the home. The home is much more than just what's in between the walls. The exterior of the home always plays a big role in determining its overall value. And with that in mind, make sure you take the time to pump up its curb appeal. Okay, and some ways you can do that are: start by improving any functional issues like loose shingles, clogged gutters, and then move on to the aesthetics. Make sure any pathways onto your home are clear, well lit, and add some charm with some decorative elements to the doorway. And of course, make sure that the lawn is freshly cut before the day of the appraisal. Number 4, consider cosmetic upgrades to the house. Upgrading your home for an appraisal is always a gamble. And if you invest a lot of money into full remodels, there's a chance you're not going to recoup it. Okay. That being said, smaller cosmetic upgrades are nearly always worth the effort. Things like adding a fresh coat of paint, replacing a dated bathroom vanity, switching to some newer fixtures, these things don't take a lot of money or effort. Put together, they will add up and to the overall value and make your home feel fresher and more updated. A quick rule of thumb is you'll want to stick to projects that can be done on your days off, rather than taking several days to weeks to get these things done. Next is have all your receipts together for the day of the appointment. If you've done any upgrades, remodels, and added things, replace a roof, all these things that you've done over your tenure in the home, have receipts for those and have them ready for the appraiser when he comes to the house. So draw up a big list of any upgrades that you've made to the property, plus the approximate dates. If you have receipts, great, get those together. Be sure to include copies with your list, and doing this helps add validity to your assertion and will help the contractors properly assess the quality of work that was performed. Have that stuff ready, laid out on the table for when the appraiser arrives with a little note or something, or hand it to them when you're there. Number 6 is clean, clean, clean. It may sound self-explanatory, but your house should be spotless for the appraisal. While it may seem unfair to you, the fact is that appraisals are a little bit subjective, and a clean house is probably going to rank much better in terms of overall condition than one that the inspector perceives as dirty. Okay. Number 7, give the appraisal space. Finally, once the appraiser arrives, it's important to give him or her space to do the job. All right. We know it might be tempting to hang around and give them a tour of the house and point out all the improvements and how great the house is, but you know, I advise that you do not do that. Appraisers, they do this every day and they know what to look for, and you pointing out how beautiful the fresh coat of paint is or how you replace some of the cabinets, you know, it doesn't do anything but risk you annoying the crap out of them and accidentally revealing more information than you want, and could actually end up hindering more than it helps. So be polite, be cordial, and make sure you can answer any questions they may have at the end of the tour. But other than that, get the heck out of there, get out of their way. And that's really it. That's all I got for the appraisal process. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Remember, like the video, share it, and if you're brave, in the comments section, share some of the experiences that you might have had with appraisals or some stories you've heard. You got any scary ones? And also maybe leave some tips that I might not have thought about. And remember, if you're a friend or a client and you have one that is in need of a Knoxville-based realtor, shoot me an email, send me their information. The address is below in the description. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you out there in the real world. Have a good one.